Imagine someday you're just doing your normal life. You get up, go to work, the standard procedure. However, today is a special day. It's the day where you make an astounding discovery, mainly because you worked so hard to achieve whatever result you were trying to get. Hello once again everyone, and welcome to another world and Heart of the Alien. Normally I prefer talking about games on their own separate videos, but this one, it's sorta special, at least to me. You see, Another World, a game that might not even be that well known by the majority, is one of the very first games I played. However, and just upon making this video, I remember that the game ends in a cliffhanger, but there is a sequel that I never even heard of. To be fair, I never really owned a Sega CD anyways. Heart of the Alien is the name of the sequel, and although there's not much info about the first game, I think we can make a great video with what we have. This sequel, from what I saw, comes with both Another World and Heart of the Alien, also considered supposedly Another World Part 2. The games were developed by Delphin Software International, the main idea coming from Eric Chahi, and even another thing, if you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe some of you came across the name Out of This World, since that's its American name release, while Another World is the European release. So, without further ado, grab a seat and get something to munch on, because this is going to be one hell of a ride. Spoilers lie ahead. Let's start first from the beginning. This game is a complete enigma, so once again, we're gonna have to drive ourselves with a manual, cutscenes, and any other comprehension that we can have on this game. Also, this game is very short. It's pretty much trial and error, but if you know how to do everything and get the passwords down, you can beat it in around 30 minutes. Our protagonist in this adventure is Lester Knight Shaken. And yes, it is a total coincidence that the previous video was about Rocket Knight. I didn't even know the name of the protagonist. Remember that back then everything came in manuals. If the name of the game didn't say the name of the character, then I'd be completely oblivious to it. Upon starting the game, we see Lester arriving in a black Ferrari, in a pretty damn cool drift motion. Upon getting out of the car, he enters a lab. We realize that outside the weather seems a bit off. But still, our hero wanted to get to his experiment as fast as he could. You see, Lester is a physicist. He was working completely solo in a small particle accelerator. As he was driving to arrive at his lab, he was determined to finish his work. However, the suspicions of the weather were indeed real. An electrical storm was about to happen. We see our hero enter the elevator, apparently not worried at all about the incoming storm, as he descends into his lab. Lester had taken some time off from the experiment, and that gave him enough time to rectify his mistakes and make it work for real this time. The lab security system is infused with a bunch of mechanics such as matching DNA, passwords, things of the sort. Finally, things were going to work out. After inputting new parameters, our hero cracks open a soda and lets the machine do its work, just as he did multiple times before. Now, here's when the storm comes into play. You see, it just doesn't stop growing, clouds growing darker and closer, and before we know it, an astounding noise is heard. The skies released a massive bolt of lightning spot onto the laboratory, and just as the accelerator got activated, the electricity followed the current towards the machine, ending up in the blast that surrounded our hero. The result? Just an empty space, where he and the computer once stood. You may be questioning what happened to Lester. Did he get disintegrated? Did something else happen? Well, the answer is B. You see, thanks to that powerful explosion, our protagonist got teleported to a completely different dimension. Now, I will not spoil anything for the next game since we are just going to talk about the first one right now. But so far, the game gives us no information about what this other world is. So, we'll just have to use our eyes. It is a world that seems to have a heavy hierarchy built within it. Law and order, except in the most extreme way you can possibly think of. It's a world full of different creatures, such as beasts, guards, and flying creatures. It also seems to be somewhat futuristic and prehistorical era, as if technology and dinosaurs coexisted. Fun fact, by the way, the main developer of this game, Eric Chahi, gave an interview once talking about how he loved the series that was airing back then, called Dragon Ball. Now, isn't that ironic? Maybe its world was somewhat inspired by the famous anime. Anyways, we already spoke enough about Dragon Ball in our first and previous video, so let's just proceed. The game starts with Lester being teleported into what seems to be a pool full of water. One thing I must warn, this game has a ton of traps. The first one we encounter is right here. See, if we take a little bit longer to get out of the computer and swim upwards, we see some tentacles coming from the bottom to get us. After we manage to get away from them, we have our first look at the world we're currently in. Mountains, beasts, moons, maybe planets, tentacles. Oh, wait, what? Ha, yeah. Remember when I said there were a ton of traps? I was not kidding. It's as if each screen is a trap. So, while you're laying your eyes all over the screen, taking your first look at the place, stay too long and one of the tentacles will come out of the water. Wait long enough and you're a goner. Let's avoid that, shall we? Now we move on to the left. We see a cliff with what seems to be a vine hanging on top or front of it. Why is that there? Well, I have no idea, so anyways, let's continue, going towards the other way then, I guess. On the opposite way, we can see some black worms dragging themselves around, some on top, some on the bottom. Also, there is no room for mistakes in this game. No health bar, no nothing. Be extremely careful where you walk and what you do. Those worms are the only enemy that we can kill barehanded. Just get close to them and stomp them. Not too close though, or it's another kill to add to the list. Or we can just ignore and jump. Ahead, we have a couple more of those, until we find a place that seems to be a cave. Upon enter— oh my f***ing god, what the hell is that? Without anywhere else to go, we go back. Ahead of us, even if you kill the black worms, it seems more appeared. So you have to keep running and jumping to avoid them, eventually getting to the cliff. Lester holds onto the vine. It breaks on one side and manages to balance us towards the opposite side of the beast. We keep running, once again, from where we came from, passing again through the black worms, eventually reaching the cave, where we're punched back, and we see the beast chasing us got shot with a red laser. We see that these cloaked creatures seem humanoid, but not human enough. We decide to introduce ourselves, but they shot us, knocking us out. Don't ask me why it didn't kill us, maybe it was some sort of tranquilizer laser or something like that. We wake up in a cell, along with another of their species, but this one seems good. He doesn't do us any harm, and soon enough, he'll become our loyal companion throughout this entire adventure. Now, who is he? The manual calls him Buddy, because, well, he becomes our buddy. But who is Buddy? Well, for that, you're gonna need to wait for us to start talking about the sequel. Now, we finally see exactly where we are. The cell is hanging. Behind us, other humanoid creatures seem to be prisoners that are mining for whatever minerals they're looking for. Next to us, the floor, with the guard standing on it, looking out. All that we need to do is balance ourselves out of this hellhole as fast as possible. We start balancing the cell. Eventually, the more we do it, the more the guard notices us, warning us with shots and shouts. The cord snaps, the cell falling right on top of the guy. I wonder what would have happened if he was a couple feet away. Anyways, the poor bastard is gone, and now it's our time to run. Wait, he had a gun, didn't he? Time to pick that baby up. It's going to be our companion for the rest of the game, at least our second companion. Our buddy warns us to follow them, in which we do. Chaos is loose. So, the world itself is big, but this particular place we're in seems to be like some sort of concentration camp or something morbid like that. At first, we are wondering about everything being so random. What are we doing here? How did we end up here? What the hell is going on? Is this a normal prison? And if so, what did all these people do to be here? Are they all from the same race but different tribes? But for now, while those questions still plague our mind, we are being chased and shot at by other guards. We continue following Buddy when we reach a place with 3 bars completely locked. It's here where we learn how to use the gun. Our buddy starts unlocking the door, and we have to defend him while he does so. Upon unlocking it, we run away onto an elevator. This part is totally optional, but definitely badass. Going up will present us with the top of the tower, with light coming out of a window. Upon getting close, the game presents us with a bigger and better view of the place we're in. We realize there's a bunch of towers like the one we're standing on, and there's something odd. It seems like those spikes are way too curved, almost like they're alien made. We managed to look at the blue sky and the outer world. Yeah, this is definitely a concentration camp. We must get out of here, ASAP. It's at this time that we realize everyone in here, of course that is not a guard, is innocent. There's something deeper going on, and we're going to find out what that is. And for that, we need to leave this place. Now, we proceed onto the elevator again, going down. We pass by an entrance, but we first need to go all the way down. There's a guard we must kill to shoot a power circuit that will cut the power upwards. We can see it through the dotted lines. Going back to the elevator and going back to the new entrance we saw, we see a wall. With a super shot, we blow it up, passing through. See, this is why we need to disable the power circuit first. If we did this first, the guard down would have noticed and those 3 doors would have unlocked for him, instantly shooting us the moment we went down that teleporting elevator. Sorry, the manual does not come with a name for this. Anyways, instead, we go down and the guard takes its sweet ass time, blowing up each bar one by one. We proceed onto another teleporting elevator, this time with no way out, since there's an alien approaching. Yeah, alien. This one doesn't have a guard uniform, so we don't know if this one is a survivor or a betrayer. Our buddy has a bad feeling, so he makes us go down a tunnel. Now, in my gameplay it didn't happen, but I remember clearly that if you stay there close enough, you can see Buddy and the stranger fighting. Nothing else of importance happens, so we move on to one of the more anxiety-inducing areas of the whole game. This tunnel brings us to a labyrinth. The wrong timing and or way can easily get us killed. Going the wrong way makes us fall to our death, and the wrong timing gasses us to death. With anxiety we go, eventually reaching the end of that nightmare. We land onto a secluded area, in which we have 3 doors, and on the opposite way, some bright doorway? Or at least it seems like a doorway. We walk towards it and bam, we get electrified. Or so it seems. In case you haven't realized, in that earlier section, ever since we got imprisoned, the gun was with very limited ammo. And yes, it is possible to get stuck in the game if you don't save ammo. But regardless, here we are, fully charged, super shotting those 3 doors and walking away. Finally, some fresh air. Or is it? Well, we are technically still fugitives, and with the guards all over the place, we take care of them, slowly releasing a bit of chaos in each area we pass by. We see our buddy managing to escape, and we run towards what seems to be a place with no exit. A massive gap in the bridge forces us to jump, but fortunately we manage to land on a mountain area. Blasting the wall, we enter a cave. Okay, so I could be stating the massive amount of different outcomes of this cave and the different ways we die, but the video would take twice as long. So, upon entering the cave, we have to go down. And after that, down again. We go deeper into the cave. We see some tentacle thingies on the ceiling, and trust me, you do not want to put a single nail in them. Also, be careful with spikes. We move forward, careful not to die to falling rocks. Once again, run as fast as you can, even because of those tentacles. Hell, shoot them if you need to. Oh yeah, and be careful with those holes on the ground. After that hell, we find a wall that seems to have a massive recipient. Blast the damn wall. I'll tell you the logic later. Now, let's go back to where we came from, but instead of going down, we go up a slope. Now, remember those first tentacles? That's our only way back in. But we can't get near them, or our head will be drilled along the rest of our body. For that, there is a conventionally well-placed bat-looking creature just resting. We must shoot it for it to follow us, most likely pissed off. I'm glad they do not know our actual plan, nor that they wake up from the dead, or else they'd be even more pissed. They fly all over the map, eventually going towards those tentacles and dying to them. The tentacles shrink in, giving us safe passage. After that, we land on top of that weird looking rock again. Going behind it, we shoot it to make a ramp so that we can go up. The first part of the plan is a success. Time for the second one. This one is a bit more chill. Just jump over some gaps and eventually we reach a body of water, being held by a very thin piece of rock. Super shot that thing and prepare to run. That water won't stop coming. Also, the drowning animation in this game terrified me as a kid. But anyways, once we go back to the same place as before, afraid the water will kill us, we get instantly lifted by a platform. The entire bottom is now filled to the brim with water. Moving on, we finally get into some action. Ahead of us, we find stairs to go up, or an entrance. Either way, each floor has a section where waterfall should be running, and we get killed because we emptied the body of water. It's now dry with no water running. No matter what you do here first, normally the idea is that you must go forward and there will be a hanging light and a guard under. You could just kill it by shooting the hanging light. You must do it regardless because it will free your buddy, who you find out is in a vent on the top floor but under our protagonist. On top, we kill a couple of enemies, eventually reaching a guy who is stuck in a room. Blowing the doors up will make him instantly shoot us. So instead, our protagonist creates a shield with a gun and opens the door to defend himself. But that bastard has another trick up his sleeve. Since he can't shoot you, he will start rolling grenades that can insta-kill you even with a shield on. Simply walk back a little so the doors close, the grenade rolls back to him, and boom, goodbye employee of the month. Moving on, we find a gun station, so time to recharge our ammo. On the next section, we have 3 lamps hanging, and we see a weird form going left and right on them. We realize it's the reflection of the guard downstairs. You might not have seen it, but this part is also mandatory. Appearing in front of that guy is another insta-kill. Aim at the lamp well, and it falls on top of him. We see the dot no longer moving and a scream from the guard. Now, we have to go all the way back, on the bottom part. We have to be careful with the guard that will punch us and grab us by the neck. Our gun is dropped far away. He starts having a monologue in his own language, and our protagonist uses the oldest trick in the book, kicking him in the nards. Yeah, apparently they have those. We run back to get our gun, picking it up in an epic rolling fashion, obliterating the poor guy. Imagine getting kicked and killed in the next second. Bro is not going to be respected in the afterlife. Anyways, another guy appears behind us. We just have to kill him, plain and simple. Moving forward, we are ambushed by 2 guards. Using the power of extreme timing, we manage to kill one and then the other. The next section has a pool in it. Upon entering, we go down. As we go deeper, we realize we've been there. Now here's the breaker. Remember in the beginning of the cave, we have very specific events to follow, or else we will either die or get stuck in the game. We went down first to blow up the hull of that massive recipient. After that, we went to blow up the water so it could both empty the waterfall and fill the pool, quote unquote. Besides other tiny things like being able to blow up the ramp after everything is done on the bottom, or using the bat so we don't die to the tentacles. It's an insane logical game, but works very much with trial and error. Now back to the present, we go down so we can go and deactivate another power cell. Also, do not forget to get some oxygen, or you might see that cursed drowning animation again. Don't worry, surprisingly the second game manages to be much more graphical. So, after we're done, we move forward and pass by the guard we killed with a lamp. Going down, enemies are waiting to rail the hell out of us. But thanks to that disabled power cell, they have a rough time breaking through it, giving us time to run and run and run, and we're stuck. Damn it. Well, might as well fight until the end. Fortunately, our friend Buddy came to the rescue, pulling us up while we held our own. After that is over, our friend gets stuck with 2 guards. We must go back and ambush them. Our friend jumps on top of the closest one while we kill the one furthest away. After that, a massive gap lies ahead. Buddy throws us to the other side and tries to jump but falls, hanging onto that tent looking thing. We see no other option but to do the same, landing on a lower area. We moved forward instead of going through the stairs, and we see what seems to be prisoners escaping, and we can even kill the last one that gets left behind. Our approaching to him ends up in us dying. I believe because that prisoner thinks we're one of them. I don't think there's any difference killing him or not, but the game manages to make it feel so lively that I personally let it live. I always killed him as a kid. I thought he was an enemy. We go back so we can go to the stairs and find an enemy. I know, what a surprise. Also, we get shot at before the stairs. Insane. Now, this guy is tricky. He doesn't kill us instantly, but we have to use him in a way so that we can go further into the base. So, we create a shield on the other side, blow the door up, and he starts throwing the grenades down the stairs. You know, that's probably the kind of thing I would do if I was sleepy as hell. He's definitely not paid enough. A couple more grenades later and we can kill him. After that, we need to disable another power circuit by going down 2 teleportation elevators and killing an enemy. After that, we go onto the stairs and we see that the grenades created a hole. We go down the hole and proceed through the cave. As we pass by what seems to be some metallic grates on the floor, we get shot, but thanks to the power cell being disabled, they can barely see, otherwise it would be another instant kill. Our protagonist needs to be careful in this next part. Instead of going down, we need to jump above the gap so we can pull down a lever. What does this lever do? Well, it creates chaos and all hell breaks loose. We see beasts everywhere attacking guards, and I just love how everyone ignores everyone since the breakout of the animals is the most important thing. We manage to outrun every single guard shooting at us. Somehow they all miss, as we go up a massive teleportation elevator. We then appear on the other side of that lower platform we were in earlier, creating a bridge for Buddy to fall onto. I swear, his arms must be numb as hell. We then run along to another teleportation elevator. Going forward, we find what seems to be a pod launcher. Here we have to be careful. Press the buttons only once so you don't waste time. Waste enough time and it's game over. Press them until a white button flashes. Press that one and then it's launch time. Now here's the thing. I can't tell if this is a female bath or a male bath type of thing. I say this because only the females appear to have hair, besides their proportions. But regardless, we land scaring everyone away as guards appear. We have no time to waste. Anyone can tell we are almost there. We run away, killing some guards in the process, eventually with our buddy joining us. After running for a while, we fall to our demise after what seems to be a laser shot. Maybe from a cannon to be that strong. Breaks the bridge exactly where we're standing on. Buddy is confused, wondering where we are. One of our arms is reaching up and we are eventually caught and saved. Finally, Buddy, where have you... Wait a minute, you're not Buddy. Now, this guy... he has no name, and he appears to not be the only one with red eyes. Here's where we come to a conundrum. He's not wearing a uniform, but has red eyes. Is that a design choice? Is there any lore behind this? My take is that he's an experiment gone wrong. The manual of the second game refers to a certain evil warden. So, is this him? It would make sense since there's more where this guy came from. But regardless, it's one more character to add. Back to the story. Lester, our main guy, is tired, exhausted. Have you seen what he went through? And after a fall like that, being pulled from a single arm and kicked as careless as he was, the only thing he can do is watch as the evil warden walks towards us. His crooked smile, his evil eyes. We try to drag ourselves out, but here comes our friend Buddy. We've been through a lot. It's not this that's gonna take us down. Buddy manages to stall him a little bit before getting overpowered and thrown down. We reach a couple of levers. It's the only thing we can try. After the evil warden is right under the middle part of the area, we activate the first lever. It seems some sort of light or thunder hits him, instantly ending him. Pulling again another lever opens the hatch to the outside. We drag ourselves back as we witness Buddy still struggling. The closer we get, we start getting shot. Until eventually, we quickly elevate to find ourselves on top of a building. We drag ourselves towards the creature, possibly a pterodactyl, passing out in the process. Buddy appears, holding us as we fly off into the skies. Now, like I said, this game ends in the very subtle, yet open way. As a kid, I thought he died, and I never heard of this game or sequels ever again. However, the story does not end here, and although the sequel doesn't explain everything to 100%, it explains at least most things. Art of the Alien starts right where the previous game left off, with our heroes flying away on the pterodactyl. They reach onto what seems to be a destroyed village. Buddy, with Lester in his arms, gets out of the pterodactyl, walking away as the creature also flies away. They pass through abandoned and burning rubble, and Buddy looks behind. It's then that we realize that this was indeed a village. Buddy starts having flashbacks of a once full of life small village, where his friends and family resided. We realize that Buddy was actually the leader of this village. He even had a pet beast. Most likely his tribe used to befriend these beasts, and a lot of them we saw imprisoned in the first game. We then see what seems to be an evil warden. Looks just like them, but he has those bloody red eyes. He grabs onto someone from the village and orders his men to start attacking the village, throwing that person into a hole full of spikes. All hell breaks loose. Everyone starts running, but unfortunately, a lot start dying, and destruction rules the moment. Buddy is warned about what's happening, and even the beast wakes up. Buddy, along Beast, and two other colleagues grab onto their respective weapons and get ready for the fight. Our alien friend carries a whip as his weapon, and it serves as a gun as well. They start fighting, but eventually Buddy is overpowered, with a net thrown at him. Skip to when he was in a cage with Lester. He starts reminding himself of the things we already know from the previous game. However, in his perspective, we see Lester finally getting awake. Our previous protagonist went through some rough moments, but Buddy doesn't stay behind at all. From getting chased to beasts to actually being knocked around countless times and shot at, besides not having a weapon the entire game. Now, it's time for some things to come back to how they were previously. We start the game where we left Lester. As a leader, Buddy cannot leave his people behind, and not like that. We start by going forward, where a beast is hanging around at a broken part of the floor. After it notices us, we run away, and the little weasel looking thing runs with us too, but we end up getting on top of a broken part that allows us to escape the beast. However, little weasel didn't get so lucky. We get down and eventually we go the same way where we left, this time fully secure. But once we cross the gap, god damn it, another beast comes our way, sneaking out of the background. We can't stop running, but we also have to be careful with these plants that spit acidic gas onto us. If that happens, we literally melt. So, with that out of the way, we find ourselves jumping on top of rubble, and we go forward, towards the location that has our weapon, right where we last left it when we were captured. The whip. But be careful, along the way there's these white bats that can kill us. Picking it up and leaving, we can finally test it. The whip can be used both as a weapon and a tool. A weapon to whip enemies, and also we can shoot with it. Shooting works a bit like the first game, but this time, right when we are charging, it creates an instant shield, allowing us to make another one. And like the previous one, we can just shoot or charge a super shot. A tool to pretty much reach larger places we can jump onto or to drop certain objects. Now that the whip is tested, time to use it to go back where we started. Going too far back, we can see the little weasel dead and devoured. I told you this game was much graphical, and this isn't even it. At the end of the video, I'll make a compilation of deaths from both the first and from the second game. On our way back, we found a hole that wasn't there before, right where the first beast was. Upon entering it, we enter a cave and we see some water dropping. Do not touch that water. Remember the acid plants from before? This is pretty much the same, except instead of gas it's liquid. Be careful crossing it. After it, we have to use the whip to cross a pool of acid. Everything seems hazardous in this planet, damn it. After that, we enter an elevator that goes like the first one, up and down at our will. However, we must be careful with these routes that, well, you guessed it, blow acid gas into our faces. On the top, we have a weapon charger. Apparently, it also works on whips. Now, we have to cross the door to the next room and we find our first proper enemy. This guard is just like the ones in the previous game. We did it, we're back into their base, and it's time to kick some ass and release everyone imprisoned. Upon killing the first guard, our hero runs towards the next section that has two guards on the background shooting at the screen. It's better to just run, do not stop. Any other action like jumping or anything else can get you killed. In the next room, we find 4 walls that we have to break with super shots, but the guards came after us, so we have to be making shields and destroying the walls one by one. Killing the guards won't do anything since they will respawn anyways. As we break each wall they approach, but it's fine either way because moving forward they won't follow Buddy. We have this guard under us that is going right and left. Our protagonist waits for the perfect opportunity. Once the guard is looking towards the hole, we kick him down with our feet using our whip on the middle spiky platform, making him shoot the electric board and fall into the hole, disabling the lighting as we cross to the other side. Next, we have an elevator. Just make sure to have good aim and shoot the electric circuit as it goes down, so it disables the electricity. Upon reaching down, be careful with the gas plant and we can go into the next room. We see the previous guard who fell and got stuck into an even tighter hole. I won't lie, I felt bad for the guy. I tried helping him, but each time I got too close the game makes the player fall along with the guard and die. Yeah, he will have a use later. A twisted, morbid use. Continuing, we find a couple of guards we must kill. No biggie. But if we look at the top, we can see our boy Lester crawling into a vent. We help him getting down by disposing of a guard while he takes care of the other one using bombs. I guess the first game made him into a pro at this already. After that, we help our previous protagonist climb into a vent while we take an elevator filled to the brim with traps. The game hates us. Getting to the bottom, we must be careful with more gassy routes. Using the whip to cross onto a spiky area, we are finally going to use that poor trapped guard. Another spiky area is under us, so we use him to cross, making him fall and eventually die. I don't know whether to feel bad or just feel like it's deserved. I know, I'm twisted. After crossing, we come into visual contact with the tentacles from the first game. However, in the first game, those could only be stunned. In here, they can be eliminated, even with the whip. So we do just that. Finally, we reach onto those teleporting elevators, and our main character fills off. The place has skeletons and skulls all over the place, and we are then surprised and knocked out by a red-eyed creature. We see that compared to the others, this one is erratic, easily getting irritated with anything. Buddy is saved by Lester, who puts him in a quite closed room. With rage, Lester, seeing his friend hurt, jumps at the back of the red-eyed creature, but ends up being overpowered. The creature uses a nearby lightning gate to fry our Lester to death. And yes, this is how he dies. Honestly, maybe not today, but I can see myself back then crying over this. The very first protagonist, we spent a ton of time with him. Although we barely know him, we saw his trust and friendship towards Buddy being built and the whole adventure. Yet, he is now gone. Buddy wakes up, confused, not knowing what happened. We proceed, not realizing where Lester is throughout the entire game. Although we players do know, Buddy doesn't. We go onto a falling crate that we need to use the whip on, and be careful with the spiky trap area. After killing a guard, we pass through the gate that got Lester killed, and eventually we need to kill another guard. The red-eyed creature is also nowhere to be seen, at least for now. The next room has a weapon refiller, and so we continue our journey. Walking through the door, we finally get onto one of the last parts in the game. Be careful with lighting and guards that are all over the place. We have 3 places to go in this area. First one we go contains a weapon refiller. The second area has a trap that has spikes on it. If we attempt to jump and die, there is a platform that comes down. Don't worry, this will come in handy later. The third area has a teleporter elevator that goes down, where we have guards and again the tentacle things. Going all the way to the left and we find a guard and the teleporting elevator that goes up. We have to be careful with the bats, and we find another lighting device. Going back down because we can't just go there yet, we need to be careful with another trap. So, remembering the first game how the evil warden got killed with light, it appears to me that this trap is the same. It automatically detects if anyone is under it and it kills them. In the place where there was a guard and the 2 teleporting elevators, we have a small circle in the middle. Shooting it disables that ray of killer sunshine. We then go down the elevator. Moving forward, crossing a hole and dodging gas, we find a machine that is feeding the electric trap. Shooting it with super shot destroys it, but beyond it we have more. We have a small triangle artifact guarded by a massive tentacle. Simply super shot the tentacle and grab the artifact. What is this for? Well, we'll see soon enough. Going all the way back to the lighting ray, we go up a teleporting elevator, kill a guard, and then finding another weird artifact with an antenna and everything. We have another trap within our path, and we have to be really precise to cross it with our whip. Once on the other side, we find a huge machine. We don't know what it does, but we can't destroy it with any whips, guns, super shots. We need something much more powerful. Personally, I didn't know what to do. I went back and forth trying to see if I forgot anything. Hell, you saw how puzzly the first game was. This one could easily be the same. Skipping all of the lost time, I tried disabling the thing on my own by pressing all the buttons until I realized that I had to press 3 specific buttons at the same time. Regardless, remember the artifacts we picked up? It's in reality a bomb. You can put it anywhere, but it's only a one-time thing. We have to use it wisely. So I put it next to the machine and it blew up. The only thing bothering me in my head was that second entrance. If you remember, that place had a trap with spikes on it and the platform came down as we die. So I went straight there, and who could tell it was actually down. Upon crossing it, we enter a doorway. Rage would fill anyone's eyes when we realized that the room has our own people hanging on the walls, with scratches and most likely dead. A box falls over us. I tried stopping it from doing so, but I don't think there's anything you can do. Don't worry, it's actually in a way a warning, a clue if you will. We enter the door at the end of the corridor and into a room. We run towards the other side, but we get punched in the face. Finally, the thing reveals itself, the red-eyed creature. Or maybe he is another evil warden. Anywho, this thing was the cause of Lester's death, and it's time for payback. Crossing his arms like he's the hottest shit alive, we get up from that punch and whip the box right on top of him. It stuns him, and he walks backwards towards the next room, but somehow he isn't knocked out. We have no idea if these are genetically modified or what, but he's clearly superhuman, or super alien, whatever. Now, the final showdown. We have to time this pretty well. With our whip in hand, we start whipping him over and over again. We can't do it too frequently because only when he's doing his edgy idle animation we can stun him and push him. Won't lie, I wasted like 15 minutes in this, what is supposed to be like what, a 30-second section? However, with perseverance and dedication, getting whipped enough times, we managed to trap this bastard into a corner, pulling down a lever and trapping him even more. He falls onto the hole and we have him on our grasp. Our hero is thinking if he should or not release one of the jail cells, which contains one of our friendly beasts. Another cell contains some people of our own kind, who want to see the evil warden go down. But he finally decides to pull the lever down, and the cage opens. The beast comes out. However, this guy doesn't go down without a fight, managing to put his dirty hands on our beast and overpowering him for a second. However, he gets kicked by one of our own, and, losing his grip and eventually falling, he starts getting scratched and hurt, eventually getting dragged into the cage where the beast was, panicking. We can assume the poor starving animal ate well. Finally, after so much fighting, everyone is released, and they rebel against the guards and wards, burning the entire place to the ground. While chaos is happening, our good buddy found the body of Lester. Distraught by seeing the body of his brother in arms, Buddy takes Lester in his arms, walking away from the fight and returning to his village. In the distance, we see the entire prison getting burned, and we also see Lester's body in a machine that disintegrates his flesh, leaving only bone. They manage to rebuild everything, but he continues being the leader with his pet beast. People are playing, working, walking around. Life returned to a once burned out place. Some may have been lost, but with due time, things can recover. One thing I noticed as well, in this last scene, we can see Buddy looking out at the window. At first, I thought it was, to show how the village went back to normal, but I realized after watching the recording again that Lester's coffin is over there. So he is clearly still among them, still a part of their tribe. It also feels incredibly satisfying seeing all the beasts and dangerous flying birds that were once our enemies walking among our people. As for Lester, I said everything I had to say, but it's sad knowing that what was going to be just a normal day turned out to be a great adventure that ended in both good and tragic ways. Another World and Heart of the Alien don't need too many words. A lot of things are subjective, but the message is clear. An incredible masterpiece, not only in storytelling, but the art. It's something completely out of the standards. This was Core File, and this was the full story of both Another World and its sequel, Heart of the Alien.